the sun burns the ground. And my eyes filled with sand. As I scan this wasted land. Trace like thoughts inside a dream. Here's the path that led me to that place, yellow desert screen. My Shangri-La beneath the summer moon. I will return
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I've heard this a few times before, so it would be unfair for me to analyze it first or talk about it first. What are your thoughts on it, Kashmir, on this song Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, as a first time listener?
This is truly my first time, and I felt that through the years, a lot of times people said Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, and I don't even know whether it is gonna go up there. But I'll share what I thought about it. So I felt, what's the hype about before the song started? What's the hype about? And it started regular, and I said, okay, yeah, okay. But then there is a point in the song when it starts pulling you in. It literally starts pulling you in musically. The way he sings, it takes you to another level. It takes you to another world. It transcends you to the world of the song that is being created. I like the music. The music was trance. It was, I'm getting goosebumps even while talking, because I like the music. The way they created the music, it was a creation of another sort of thing. It was a zone of its own that the music takes you in, and that requires a lot of masterly talent and skills of the people to do that. And I love the involvement of the vocalist, the way he was into it. He was completely, from the moment go until the end, he was into it. He was on that journey where he took everybody on. I don't have any clue why was the title of the song chosen by Led Zeppelin to be Kashmir. 1965, there was a lot of things happening around Kashmir, and everybody wanted a piece of this land called Kashmir that is there in India, and partly in illegally occupied by Pakistan, some of it. But the place by itself, everybody wants a piece of it. And while listening to it, me being from India and knowing Kashmir a little bit, never have got the opportunity to visit it. But it's one of those places which is literally heaven on earth. It used to have immense soul in it, but now a place filled with dead souls around. Maybe at some point in the future, maybe it can be revived again. Don't know. Efforts are put by a lot of people. But it did connect me to Kashmir itself.
Yeah, it's a desert trip, desert road
He's
trip.
on a desert, yeah.
It's exactly the opposite of what Kashmir is.
yeah.
So it highlights a blissful ignorance of Led Zeppelin as an artist, how little they know of the world, geography of the world at least. So they chose the name Kashmir, I'm guessing because it's a popular place, or it was a popular place when they were thinking of a title.
That time in history, yeah, there was a lot of contention around it.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's a very funny title for me because the song talks about him going through the desert with the sand blowing into his eyes and all that, into his face. So it is entirely the opposite of what Kashmir looks like or is like most of the year. So it's quite funny, the ignorance of Led Zeppelin. It highlights how rock bands just used to write things and pick up titles based on their popularity or based on what will get them more sales and more traction with a certain part of the world maybe. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing. The song, listening to it after quite some time, after quite a while I've heard it, maybe a few years now since I heard this, it sounded quite boring, to be honest. It sounded quite boring with that epic
It's dramatic.
yeah, it's quite over dramatic.
It is dramatic.
It doesn't really hold much value in the lyrics. The lyrics itself are quite weak, and whatever he did at the end was even more weaker with the ooh yeah. It became kind of vulgar and cheap what Led Zeppelin did towards the end. It really turned the song upside down, made it into like a porn show or something. It's exactly what it turned into. It could be used in a porn flick, and you will say, wow, what a great choice for music. So it turned into something quite vulgar towards the end. Ooh yeah, baby, and all that. I mean, first he was talking the wisdom of the elders in those desert lands and all, as if he's going through Africa, but he's talking about a place which is exactly the opposite geographically or otherwise, with the elderly being more like terrorists over there rather than wise people. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird song for me. It's quite boring. It's something that there's a reason I've not heard it in quite a while. Kashmir, like Kirti said at the beginning, it's a song that probably hyped up a lot. In fact, when I heard it when I was a child, I remember. And then for a while, it stayed with me, this tune. It became quite big, and so many movies use similar tunes, But then I heard Wasted Sunsets of Deep Purple, and I loved the music of that even more.
Oh.
Chun-chun-chun.
Oh, so
it's
this
so
is- okay,
similar.
okay,
It's so
okay,
similar.
okay.
Now I don't know. This probably came
came
before
first?
that.
Yeah.
That who, but the music definitely, when you hear
Because that's-
Wasted
yeah, I
Sunsets,
know Mission
then
Impossible
you forget
thing.
about the music of this. Because the Wasted Sunsets music is just outstanding by Deep Purple.
We have to listen to that.
We've heard it. We heard it a couple of years ago. We reacted to it, if
Oh.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. So, that stays with you and you forget all about this. So, yeah, there was a time when I did love this song. I said, wow. Whenever that would come out,
It
I
was
said,
dramatic
wow,
for sure.
wow. But there's nothing to it,
I think this is
There's
more
nothing
for
to
adults,
it.
yeah.
And I don't know, the end of the song really turned me off. Really, really, really turned me off. Ooh, baby, oh, my baby, let me take you there. Yeah, but I'm down, so down, but I'm down. Oh, yeah. It turned into a hip hop song. It literally turned to what, those cheap, vulgar hip hop artists are known for. You wouldn't want Led Zeppelin to sound that way, but they do sound that way, and they exactly sounded like those hip hop guys that came a couple of decades later, I would imagine, but as vulgar as they are. Wow, this song really turned me off. The ending really turned me off. It was quite boring with all those desert antiques and them choosing Kashmir as the title for popularity reasons, of course. To make it more popular than whichever desert they were going through.
I stayed with
Yeah.
Kashmir through the song. I never went to the desert and never went to what he was singing. I was more into Kashmir and thinking about what prompted them.
If
to
possible,
choose it.
we'll put up a few pictures that we have, royalty-free pictures of
From
our
Kashmir, yeah.
from our own collection of Kashmir, so you know how off base
Maybe, yeah.
Led
While the
Zeppelin
song is
was
on,
with the
yeah.
songwriting.
Yeah.
So the only epic part of it is that it's like a machine gun slowed down. If you slow down the sound of a machine gun, like an AK-47, this is what it would sound like. And probably the inspiration for this one. Knowing how the Westerners are, how they love violence and destruction.
And again, intertwining Kashmir with it at the real geographical location. And when you talk about guns and all, it has been a victim of it and, torn apart. So, it's sad.
With a lot of support from the Brits and the
Yeah,
Americans on the
Something that
Pakistani
was
side.
heaven. Yeah.
Support of theirs to make it that way till today. Great job,
It's
Americans
a
and
shame on
Brits.
humanity.
Shame on the West. That's it for this one.